More like Liquid Luke, am I right? Welcome back to So You're Interested In, the show where I break down an artist's discography in order to give you, the viewer, the best possible jumping off point in order to get into the catalog. On this installment, let's look at the up-and-coming indie outfit, Liquid Mike. Getting their start relatively recently in Marquette, Michigan, this 90s alt-rock infused band was founded by its namesake, Mike Maple. By day, Maple is a postal worker in Marquette, but by night, he is churning out some of the best tunes that you've never heard. Taking heavy influence from bands like Gotta Buy Voices, Weezer, Japan Druids, Jawbreaker, and Joyce Manor, they forged their emo punk garage sound. Obviously, there are a lot of bands out there who share in this similar soundscape, but very few of them write hits quite like Liquid Mike. Between their infectious riffs and catchy hooks, it'll be hard not to fall in love with their Midwestern charm. Releasing 5 albums in the past 3 or so years, it's pretty clear that Maple's brain is overrun with new songs to write. So, before their discography gets too big, allow me to introduce you to 2 albums and 3 individual tracks you can get ahead of the curve and ignite your love for Liquid Mike. As per usual, we're gonna start with the albums. The first Liquid Mike album to spin should be their 2023 self-titled effort. If you're a dedicated Forever Spinning fan, then you might remember that I listed this at number 12 on my favorite albums of 2023 list. This record is bursting with energetic and lively songs that each brings their own signature brand of punch to the table. Just like always, I'm going to talk about a handful of these songs, but trust me when I say that you're better off listening to this album from front to back to hear all of the well-crafted tunes. One of the songs that I do want to talk about, however, is Too Much of a Good Thing. Instantly you're greeted by these bobbing and swaying bass and guitar quips that are ushered along by pulsating percussion that lures you in like a trap. Once you're snatched by their gritty yet approachable tones, Mike begins to assault you with questions of honesty and intent. Not literally, he's antagonizing someone else, but the bitter sentiment is clearly there. Then there's a song like Built for Nothing Good, which is oozing with jangle and fuzz in the instrumental as well as the vocals. It's probably the most lo-fi, DIY sounding track on the album, but that doesn't take away from the fact that it is such a good song. The vocal layering warms your soul while the pretty sleek back and guitar riffs evoke better days. Eventually, we make our way to Wedding in Drain County, which was my 12th favorite song of 2023 according to the video that I made on the very topic. But seriously, this track kicks ass. It's an absolute blast and I cannot recommend it enough. The vocals from Maple are outstanding, hitting some pretty fun high notes while also leading a sing-along in the hook. The repeated line of "No good blade could break this chain" is spellbinding, as well as the quaint riffs that power the instrumental like a nuclear reactor. There are certainly more rambunctious Liquid Mike songs out there, but Wedding in Drain County's aggression kinda sneaks up on you and gets your blood pumping. Before we move on to the next album, I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about the track RAV4. To put it bluntly, the riffs say emo and the vocals say pop punk. Put those two together and usually you get something trite, or a derivative of something shitty to begin with, but in the case of RAV4, you get a banger. It's an earnest song all about missing somebody's company and how driving around without them just doesn't feel the same. It features some great song construction, and I would even go as far to say that this is the best written track on the album. Plus, how could you not love that guitar solo towards the song's end? Listen, I'm not saying this album is gonna knock your socks off, but I do have a strong suspicion that you'll come running back for more Liquid Mike. Speaking of more Liquid Mike, the next album that you must check out is their latest effort, 2024's Paul Bunyan Slingshot. I was heavily anticipating this record prior to its release, and it appears as though I correctly put all of my eggs in one basket because this thing is fucking incredible. The songwriting is top notch, the lyrics are fun and catchy, and the performances themselves are stellar. Let's look at the song K2 as a prime example. It's so nice to hear Liquid Mike seemingly sounding bigger and better than ever, even if the song construction itself isn't world-shaking. It's got this weird warbly guitar that leads into this fantastic indie, emo, garage pop instrumental mix all underneath lyrics talking about smoking K2 and the chaos of being young. There's even a great Coldplay joke in the second verse that gets a chuckle out of me every time I hear it. Another standout track is Mousetrap, which has one of the best grooves of 2024 thus far. The extra fuzzy guitar and bass gives Mousetrap a sonic texture that really hasn't been explored by Liquid Mike, but goddamn does it sound great. I can all but guarantee that you'll be belting out the line, "The American Dream is a Michigan hoax," non-stop for the next week. This could be a bit of a stretch, but Mousetrap might be their most quotable song yet, which is what I would be saying if the song USPS didn't exist, because hot damn this has some outstanding lines. I mean, how how could you possibly not join in and scream out, "That's why Jesus made the sidewalks, you would always have a safe place to run"? The lyrics aren't the only good part of USPS though, as the grisly rhythm guitar juxtaposes the slinky, almost whiny lead guitar in such a pleasant manner. I know it's only February, but this is my favorite song of 2024 so far, just saying. Eventually, the fun must come to an end, as this LP closes out with the title track, Paul Bunyan Slingshot. Stuffing in more killer licks and grooving progressions, this is proof that Liquid Mike has a right to radio play as much as a band like Weezer. I promise that if Liquid Mike finally blows up, you'll be seeing people across the globe singing "Please Don't Bother," "Try to Stick Around Any Longer," "Try to Tie the Clouds to the Water." I know I use a lot of superfluous and exaggerated words when making these videos, but I'm telling you right now from the bottom of my heart that the entirety of Paul Bunyan's Slingshot will have you instantly hooked on Liquid Mike. And if for some reason you don't like it, I'll Venmo you $1. And that will do it for the albums, but don't you go anywhere, cause we still got some tracks to cover. The first Liquid Mike track that you should hear is the song Stuntman from the 2021 album Stuntman. Obviously, this song isn't going to sound nearly as polished as their more modern material, but that doesn't mean that this song can't sound good. You get a great mix of indie and garage sounds from the guitar, bass, and drums, as they have this alluring DIY charm. But that negates Maple's vocals throughout, which are performed in such a fun manner that you'll completely forget that the lyrics are talking about a loser. Plus, the backing female vocals are so great, but unfortunately I couldn't find the proper name or credits while doing my research, so if you're out there and watching, just know that you killed it, and I'm sorry for not finding your name. As most bands tend to go, you'll find their more thoroughly written material later in their discography, but that does not mean that you should skip out on Stuntman. It really is a diamond in the rough. Next, I want you to check out the track 45 from their other 2021 album, You Can Live Forever in Paradise on Earth. It's got such a fun chord progression that sprints by you in scorching fashion. This is a blistering punk-leaning cut that reminds me of a Joyce Manor demo or something along those lines. There's a nice level of grain and fuzz over the vocals, while the instrumental stays relatively clean, resulting in an intriguing soundscape, whether intentional or not. These lyrics aren't necessarily my favorites from this album in particular, but god damn, that instrumental makes it all worthwhile. If you're looking for a short burst of energy with excellent guitar licks, then 45 is your go-to track. Finally, I want to spend some time talking about God's Best Substitute from the 2022 album A Beer Can and a Bouquet. Right from the get-go, you'll begin to hear the shift from old Liquid Mike to new Liquid Mike, especially when it comes to the vocals. You can hear a maturity not only in their sound, but in their overall song approach. I'll say it again for the 20th time in this video, this hook is fucking awesome. I picked this song above the rest mainly due to the line, "I break in half and multiply, God's best substitutes, man-made molecules." I know this group is getting a ton of love right now, and it is undoubtedly deserved, but God's Best Substitutes is proof that they've always been making weird little bangers. I mean it when I say that diving into their back catalog is a very pleasant venture. And that will conclude my video covering Liquid Mike. Links to all the albums and tracks discussed here will be located in the video description box below. Scroll down even further to the comments section where you can let me know if you liked any of the albums or tracks that I picked here. Maybe you've always been a Liquid Mike fan and you think that I completely butchered this list. That's fine. Go to the comments and let me know how I fucked up and how I can do better next time. While you're down there, feel free to recommend any artists that you would like to see covered on this show. Just know that I do have a bit of a backlog built up, but still I'm taking your recommendations very seriously and I've been given some really good ones over the past couple of weeks, so thank you. If you're like me and you cannot stop talking about music, then might I recommend joining the official Forever Spinning Discord server. We're talking old music, new music, hot takes, fashionable trends, and all of the rest, so please feel free to join in on the fun. There will also be a link to that in the video description box as well. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to Forever Spinning. I release new videos just like this every single Monday, along with other shows that I do, such as Stacks of Wax, Where It's At, and The Variety Show. There's always new content being churned out at the Forever Spinning factory, so subscribing not only helps me out, but it also lets you know when these new videos drop. And yeah, that is going to do it. Outside of my usual reminder for you to go out and support your local record store if you are able to, along with the local artists in your area, and well, until I see you next time, happy listening.